Hello there, everybody out on Facebook land. I am going to get Betsy on here with us. Welcome to the tall and the short of it. I think you guys can see me okay. I wish I could make this a little shorter. Maybe I can. There we go. There, that's better. All right, let's get Betsy on here with us. Hey.
Yep.
Can you hear me? Okay, so I just said hello to everybody, but didn't really say much else yet, and then realized I just forgot my headphones.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go grab those. I think we're okay now. I mean, I don't hear any
because I have
weirdness.
mine.
Do you hear?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we're okay.
Because I think we
Maybe I don't need
decided
to
if
go
just
yet.
one of us had them.
All right.
I don't.
Okay. Cool.
Hey guys. Sorry.
No.
No, I've been looking at all of our videos because we knew we started a year ago this month. Did you know? Have you looked at our ADHD one? 1,600 views.
Woo!
Yeah. Like I was like, oh,
That
let
is
me go
pretty
through and see
awesome.
which one has like the most views. I mean, we have some that are up there as well, but that one wasn't that long ago. Like we have some from the Autism Walk, were over 600 views. Your interview with Fenway Park at Erskine Green has over 1,000. And
yeah.
Huh?
I
Yeah. So anyway,
that
sorry, I just wanted to, and I wasn't a part of that one, so maybe I was feeling a little left out.
You were the
so
ADHD one.
So anyways, I happened to see that and I wanted to share.
There we go. Well, yeah, and towards the end of this month, Betsy and I will be doing kind of an anniversary episode. I think we said we were going to do that the week of Halloween, right? Yeah, so we'll do something special, maybe give away a prize or something. All right, so today is our first episode in October, which is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. And I hope you guys enjoyed the posts that I put up this week, which were the article about the.
Okay. No, I accidentally turned it on because I wanted to see who was here, and I'm looking and I thought it was Jonna. Hey, Jonna, do we sound okay?
Yeah, double check that we sound both sound okay to you.
Jake's on here too.
If I
Hey,
need to get
Jake.
my headphones.
Do we sound all right?
Hey, Jake. If you can hear both of us okay, just tell us in the comments and we're just going to keep going instead of you going to grab headphones.
Saying hi, so I'm guessing we sound okay since she said her two favorite people.
Oh, that's sweet. You can actually see the comments before.
Hey, Molly.
Me, I think, since you're watching it.
Hi. Oh, Jake says yes.
Well,
so.
we are going to jump right in. Yeah. Okay, great. There's Molly. Hi. All right, so we're going to jump right in and talk about Down syndrome and what it is. So, genetically, Down syndrome is when a baby is born and they have an extra 21st chromosome, or sometimes it's a partial. But that 21st chromosome, that's why the medical terminology for Down syndrome is called trisomy 21, because tri means 3, right? So there's that extra 21st chromosome, which causes the physical characteristics that you see across all Down's kids. And I hope you guys really enjoyed the one video Betsy posted.
I think so.
A couple days ago. Was that 2 days ago?
Wonderful.
Kids from Downright.
And they have,
wonderful. Oh my,
I love them. Colton, Nick, I love
so
them.
good.
I follow them on Instagram. I love them. I just love the whole family, but
Yeah. I was just very impressed by the two little girls' explanation of what Down syndrome is, and that they were able to explain that in a way that's very user friendly. Yep. But characteristics. So, Betsy, do you want to do
they typically
characteristics?
have low muscle tone, or have a smaller stature, an upward slant to the eyes, a single deep crease across the center of their palm. So,
Right. Another one that was mentioned on the video, the girls did was, or no, I actually watched another video of a mom who had they call it sandal toe, where their first and second toe is a little further apart. Some babies with Down syndrome have that. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. But those are the ones that are pretty similar across. That's why they say you can tell if someone has Downs by their down by their physical features. And just some trivia is it was not named Down syndrome till 1866.
it was Downs, yeah.
When the scientist whose last name was Down determined that it was a genetic disorder. So, okay, causes. So they really don't know what causes it. The only thing that they are able to determine is that maternal age, so the mom's age, can be a factor in your risk for having a baby who has Down syndrome. So age 35 is usually when that risk increases. So your risk of having a baby who has Down syndrome is 1 in 350 at age 35. And then that gradually increases to 1 in 100 by the age of 40. So I think most doctors consider any pregnancy over age of 35 more high risk anyway. But that's something that probably your doctor would let you know if you did come in and were positive for a pregnancy test and you were over 30.
And they diagnose it two different ways. They can diagnose it prenatally through blood tests, and you said something I'm not going to repeat, like whatever the test was you said. Yeah, you called it something though,
that
so
big
I'm
old
not.
needle in their belly.
Or they also can be diagnosed at birth. So.
Yeah. And then the genetic markers is what they can test for. Actually, I mean, if they notice the physical features, they probably have an idea, but then they usually do a genetic test for the markers for the trisomy at birth. And then here's the big one, is that yes, they have these physical features, but more than anything that affects them is the medical piece. There's a lot of medical conditions that can go along with Down syndrome, and not every kid has all of them.
And they all,
but
or they have them to a different degree.
Exactly. So, one I find pretty common though is the heart defect. Sometimes they have a murmur or a valve that doesn't work quite right, something like that, and sometimes they have to have surgery when they're a baby on their heart.
Well,
go ahead.
Ear infections or having tubes in their ears is very, very common. You said what was smaller? There we go.
They're eustachian tubes.
So this is something that, which smaller. I mean, in general is common for a lot of kids, but you know, the instance goes up quite a bit when you have a child with Down syndrome. So,
which is probably also what leads to the hearing problems.
We'll come across well, and another one, a couple of them that we're going to talk about, like on farther down, kind of go along with the kind of, you know, they again lead to each other. So
they all go. Yeah, they can also have vision issues, and then because of the low muscle tone, I don't know if you understand when someone has low muscle tone, they're very floppy. So like they just don't. I don't know. How do you describe it, Betsy? When we see kids like that, I mean, I've just always described them as they're just
I
like
don't know
floppy
that I've
kids. They're
ever,
not.
I mean,
They're.
they just struggle to control, I don't want to say control, like have
Mm-hmm.
like purposeful control. They struggle a little bit more with that, like with their body. They have to work a little harder. You know, we have to build that up and work towards that. It's their movements maybe aren't as, like I said, controlled, where you're, you know, maybe reaching out for
Mm-hmm.
something or trying to, and that's where like physical therapy and occupational therapy, those things really play a
Mm-hmm.
big part.
But that
Hmm.
affects all their motor skills. It can be gross and motor skills, from
Hmm.
running to being able to do any of the other things that little kids do when they learn to walk. I
Hmm.
mean, learning to walk can take longer when you have low muscle tone
Hmm.
because you just don't have the strength. Learning to sit, even push
That
themselves up on their hands and
the
things like
family,
that when
the
they're
video
little.
I shared, the Nick, the youngest one, like he's all about the somersault, and I'm so impressed. He can pull it. I mean, he pulls it off pretty well. But no, I'm so like I was like, oh my goodness, like for him to be you know, being able to do that already, and he hasn't been walking that long.
Mm-hmm.
But one of
Oh,
them we had said, I said they kind of all go together. Jenny had mentioned hearing problems. Um, Kids with Down syndrome just have a higher risk of infection. They have their immune system is they have a lower immune system or it's compromised, so they're at a higher risk for infection. And so like that's what we're talking about, the tubes in their ears and then the hearing loss. It just, but where most of us are typically developing child could, their bodies could fight off those infections. A child with Down syndrome, it can be very serious, as an infection that wouldn't
mm-hmm.
isn't typically as serious, you know, with a typical child. They can be, and they definitely need to be treated. um
Especially
yeah,
if they have a
yeah.
comorbid condition with their heart, because they have to be
Hmm.
pre-medicated before they would go to a dentist or any time where
Hmm.
they're going to have where
And
blood
so
could be
often
exposed. So
they are going to get
yeah.
sick more often, chances are, but then also when they do get sick,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to probably be worse than, you know, it typically, or oh, they just, you know, got a little cold. Well, a lot of times there is no such thing as a little cold. It takes
Might
a
take
little longer
longer.
to get over, and often they need that medication to get over it. Their body just can't fight that.
Sure. They're also at risk for blood disorders like anemia and at
Hmm.
higher risk for leukemia. Um, so and all of this really does go together though, because you think about it, like one of the other ones is dental problems. Um, when if you have a lot of dental problems, but you also have a heart defect and you have a low immune system and you're at risk of infections, I mean, just think about
Yeah.
how getting a simple cavity filled. How does that
Hmm.
affect all those things? It's just that it
Hmm.
all goes, it
Right.
all compounds, I guess, and
Um,
stacks.
well, in sleep disorders,
Uh,
and if they're struggling, like they kind of like sleep apnea, and if they're struggling to get a good night's sleep, then they're, again, that builds into the immune system and infection, and you know, because that's your body's doing a lot of work during that time. And
they also really
hmm.
struggle to potty train because
Hmm.
they have digestive problems, including some
Hmm.
have celiac disease. They're at higher risk for celiac. So a lot of times it may be grade
Hmm.
school before
Yeah.
they're even close to being ready to potty train.
Epilepsy, which this one was, I wasn't familiar with this one. But it said
Mm-hmm.
typically, let me pull it up so I'm making sure I'm saying the right information. So it said typically, like a child, if they with Down syndrome, they have increased risk, but they typically begin occurring during the first 2 years of life. So, or after the third decade of life, so after 30. So that's but children, it just says more likely. It doesn't give us a percentage. However, it did say that almost half of the people with Down syndrome who are older than 50 have epilepsy. So that was, very, that was interesting, I thought. And it does say that they can be treated and controlled well with medication. So, like I said, it says more likely. It doesn't give us a percent because, like I said, that's not something I'm familiar with. So the children I've had in school that have had seizures, none of my kids with Down syndrome have. So, okay, sorry, our timer, we're at 15 minutes.
Oh, Molly said Molly knew the name of the test, alpha fetal
Thank
protein
you,
test
Molly.
is one of the ones that they give.
Jenny said one, but I wasn't. She may have been reading it.
Yeah. So, and then last but not least, intellectual disabilities is highly prevalent in kids with Down syndrome. For those of you that don't know, what used to be called cognitive disability, and before that, mildly mentally handicapped. I mean, those all mean the same thing. But intellectual disabilities is the new legal term that we use in schools now. And you can have a mild intellectual disability, moderate, or severe. And kids with Down syndrome can be in any of those categories. And depending on, what kind of early intervention they got, or what kind of therapies they participated in, they may not be able to be pretty functional. So when Betsy and I were talking about it, we were like, we've seen kids that with Down syndrome that are super mild and are able to be in regular classes with regular education students, all the way to kids who are medically fragile.
And like I've learned quite a bit of sign language because of students who have Down syndrome but are not really verbal yet, and at school age and things. So but then at the same time, I have some that I've had some in the past that are verbal completely, and so maybe a little on the okay, it's time to be quiet now.
Yeah.
And
yes, they can go anywhere from being very vocal to not vocal at all.
We're getting ready to chat about early intervention, and that is key. But at the same time, you have to take in, to an extent, that intellectual piece of it, because you can get early intervention. You can start that early intervention day one, and it also completely depends on the child and where that capability ends. Does that make sense? Why?
Because they're born with that.
Yeah. Right. But definitely, like we are getting ready to talk about a little bit, early intervention is key. So important.
It's huge. So normally when you would have a infant with Down syndrome, your doctor should refer you to First Steps, like right away. And if they don't, you can seek them out. First Steps is a federally funded grant program that provides home services. So you can have services in your home for kids birth to 3. So as soon as that you're able to go home with the child, you can get a hold of First Steps, come out and do an evaluation. And then you can either get developmental therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy. I think those are the 4 things And if your child does have hearing or vision loss, they can provide services for that as
He's
well.
like right
Do you have a
out
friend
of the.
bothering?
Yeah, I
I'm
thought,
just
but
like,
he's like
walked across
just
the table
outside
behind me.
of, like, I mean, yeah, he's right here.
He's right there. Hi, Callaway. But yes, so definitely want to get them involved with First Steps, so that they can be receiving services.
Well, and that First Steps
as
piece
soon as
is
possible.
helpful in that, because First Step stops at the age of 3, like literally the age of 3, their 3rd birthday, First Steps is done. And so they work on transitioning if, intervention still needed. They work on that, transferring those services from First Steps to the school. That used to be part of my job.
Right.
Meeting with that, and the school can meet with First Steps and the families and work on that. And the school does their own evaluation and sorry, I am like so distracted. But so then that gets the child, and that's very helpful to the school. I mean, one, it helps the child and introduces them to, a school setting, and then also continues those therapies. But then also the school is much better prepared to meet that child's needs the day one of kindergarten.
Right, because we get all of their old therapy notes and everything from First Steps when a parent is able to transition them to the school for preschool. So, and preschool for special education is mandatory for ages 3 to, we have to provide that for students with disabilities ages 3 to 5. So, and that's all done free to the parents. So just as a reminder for those of you that didn't watch our month on preschool, that is all free through the public school starting at age 3. And then, of course, when they transition to kindergarten, then that's another time where we transition them and help make sure that their kindergarten through 12th grade plus experience is also good. So there are services available for students with Down syndrome from birth all the way into adult services. And they would be eligible for things like supplemental Social Security, Medicaid waivers. There's all kinds of things like that to help parents who have kiddos with this genetic disorder. So, how are we on time?
Yep, we're at about, I can't remember we're over 15, but maybe under 25.
Oh, good. See, that's pretty good. We did great this time. So our plan for the rest of this month is, one, we are hoping to get a parent of a student with Down syndrome on with us coming up shortly so that we can get a parent's perspective. And then we'll probably also talk about, I'm guessing, school at some point. We'll talk about things we do school for supports. But if you have other ideas of things that we could do for Down syndrome awareness, please post those in the comments. We are open
or
to
any
that.
resources.
Like I said, go ahead. Yeah, resources. Sorry. Your cat.
Apparently he had an itch in his ear and he's trying to scratch his ear while sitting on my lap. Oh. So
yeah, any resources or anything else, any cool websites or things that you find, make sure to post them this month, because we're wanting to get the word out about Down syndrome. I think it's also Learning Disabilities Awareness Month, but I think, didn't we do something? Well, no, because we didn't start till October.
We've got time. We can,
at some point, we can tackle that any month for sure. All right, well, that is it today for the tall and the short of it. And we are excited about our anniversary coming up. So I'll probably try to get some, I'll look around, see what kind of prizes we can come up with, if we can get some of our
Yes.
#1 fans on with us to
Well,
give those away.
and I'll
that
have to
week
get
of
on
Halloween.
so we
Okay.
can share our new attire that I have to get
Oh
on that.
yeah.
I'll have to get with
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
have to get with Amanda about.
That's right. Oh, and the other thing Betsy and I have been talking about this week too is we're wanting to get out to some like local events to build awareness about the tall and the short of it, and just what we do, and how we like to help support
Well,
families and kids with
we keep
disabilities
saying
and
join the
those
conversation.
conversations.
Well, we got to
Um,
get out there and talk to people in order to have conversations. No offense, we don't want to
get
keep
more
talking with
people.
just each other. We do that all the time.
Yeah. But where we could have a table, that's a community event where you think we would fit, please let us know. We'd love to join your event, and set up and do some interviews with people, or
Yes.
or just walk around and talk to
Yes.
people like we do. Okay. All right. Well, until next week.
Bye, guys.
We will see you later. Bye-bye.